morning. It is the Going on Daily Live morning show. I'm your host, Ron Rigo, and I've got the one and only Martin Blanco.
Where?
Martin,
Where?
let me tell you,
Yeah.
today couldn't be more perfect co-hosting with you today.
Ah.
For the simple reason, it's the Oscars, right?
Yep.
And I'm a huge movie fan, and I know that I got a fun facts geared for you today.
Oh, super. I like fun
So
facts.
I I cannot wait for that one
Okay.
because I was trying to think, okay, let me see, what can I do for fun facts today? Because I wanted to bring that, and I got the perfect movie. Got the perfect
Okay.
movie for it.
Great.
Got a perfect movie.
Can't wait.
We've got a lot of movie stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 'tis the season. I mean, between yes, the Oscars last night, and then the sad and bizarre news of Gene Hackman's passing, late last
Yeah, that
week.
got
Week.
that got a big twist,
Yeah.
this weekend.
Yeah.
And me and Kenny covered that with all the strangeness, right? I mean,
Yeah.
how they were found and everything.
Because when he passed away, he said, "All right, we knew he was in his 90s, 95 years old. So while it's sad, there's nothing striking or stunning or shocking about it." And then, boy, did that change,
Yeah,
on a on a dime, and it's only getting weirder. But
yes, it
you hope
is.
people and dogs didn't suffer, but so utterly strange, utterly strange.
Yeah.
What a
So,
way to
I
go!
mean, you got a tribute for him,
Yeah,
and I can't wait for that because the man has been in such great movies. I
yeah.
mean, when I did that top 5 last week with Becky,
Mm,
oh my god, it was so hard to pick from his movie list. I mean, it's
yeah.
amazing. So you got a tribute for him. We also have some TV premieres coming up. That is basically the only non-movie segment we got today.
Hmm.
The only one.
Okay, but it's
You
close.
have,
It's linked. It's linked.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I guess it's kind of linked, right?
I mean, there's an adjacency about it that works.
Yes. You also have, let me see, Martin's Brush with an Academy Award winner.
Yeah,
And I can't wait to get that story. You have such wonderful stories.
it's
It
funny.
is amazing to listen to those.
Well, this is a good one.
So yeah, so everybody's in for a treat today. We're
Okay.
gonna find out what Academy Award winner that Martin had a brush with.
Yeah.
Um, and of course, Ron's top 5 today.
Okay.
And it is not an easy one. So Ira and Kenny, beware. I'm letting you know. I
Okay.
got a feeling you're not gonna like it, and it's gonna be disrespectful, according to them. But I think you're gonna kind of like it, and it's like you have a top 5 movies coming up
Yeah.
too as well. And I'm not like Ira and Kenny. Oh, because it does. If I don't agree with it, oh, it's an awful list.
It's
No,
invalid, right? It's
right. So I can't wait for that, and it's going to be an interesting conversation, I'm sure.
yeah.
Um, I like what's going on today. So what? Anora won for best movie, correct?
Yes. Yes.
So that is the big movie of the year now. Now I need to go and watch that today. It's a
I,
must.
I'm halfway done. I'm halfway done. And I'm impressed. I'm impressed. So
Yeah, and I
it's
and it's like I remember when we talked about, I believe it was the Golden Globes when that came out, and I criticized,
mm,
the animated movie, especially
mm,
Flo winning that. Well,
yeah.
Flo won an Oscar as
Well,
well,
yeah.
but since the Golden Globes, I have watched Flo,
Okay. And
and it was a really good movie.
okay.
Now, that being said, I then said, well, Inside Out 2, Wild Robot. I felt were better movies.
Mhm.
But then I started thinking, and when you start analyzing, basically the script and the type of animation,
Mhm.
I started to waver on that claim.
Interesting.
I now think Flo and Wild Robot are probably right there with each
Neck and
other,
neck. Interesting.
neck and neck. And that left Inside Out 2, which was a wonderful movie.
It was.
But I start thinking, and I'm like, those two are pretty close, I think.
Mhm.
So I am not upset that Flo won.
Oh, good. Oh, look at that. See, we can
I
we
came
can
around.
all change. We can come around. We get new
Yeah,
data. We have new experiences, and that's kind of cool. The thing with Inside Out too. I saw it. I liked it, and I loved Inside Out 1. It's sort of an extension of it. If Inside Out
yeah,
1 was an extra hour and a half long, it's the same movie. And that's not a bad thing. They're making money
no,
with it. We're being entertained by it. And you
yeah,
want to acknowledge the craft and skill and talent that went into it. But when we're giving out awards, it's almost nice to it's like, look, we sort of this franchise had its moment, and now we've
right.
opened the door, to some different artists,
Exactly,
and
exactly.
that's important too.
Yep.
That's important too. But so good. Well, good for
So,
you.
so yes, Flo does get love from Ron.
I'm
So
sure right now
Hugo's
the
in the
producers are
house.
going, phew, thank goodness.
Yeah.
That's
So
the real
Hugo's
win.
in the house,
Yeah.
wondering where Becky is. Becky will be here tomorrow with Ira.
Nice. Nice.
I don't know if I said that Becky was going to be on the show today. I might have, um, but then things kind of got jumbled up,
Yeah.
and you know, Becky, I guess, was with you last week,
Hmm.
so I decided I would be with you, and Becky would be with Ira, who hasn't been with Ira for a little while. So
Okay. Okay.
that's where Becky is,
Okay.
Hugo. I'm so glad you miss Becky and hate me being on the show. Uh,
Let's
but
just say
all
she
right.
sprinkles us all. Yeah. All right.
Yes, I mean, she's the goat. Apparently, everybody comes and they want to watch Becky,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
do her thing, and that's okay
Yeah.
as long as people are watching the show, right?
Right. Right. Right.
That's the way I look at it. Becky's wonderful. She's been in since the first week of the debut of
Okay.
the show. So Becky has been great. Her show, we aired her first episode of season 2 on Thursday on Rhode Island Broadcasting.
Fantastic.
So
Good.
that was exciting, and
It was a good
she's
episode
got a
too.
wonderful two girls without cancer,
Without cancer. Yeah. Yeah. Even better.
and it's a wonderful show. She does a
What's
great
better
job
than two girls with cancer? Two girls without cancer.
without cancer.
That's a
Exactly.
big step up.
Yeah, absolutely. And congratulations to both of them
Yeah.
for defeating it, right? But you always have that in the back of your mind too, I'm
Mhm.
guessing. I mean, I don't know. I don't have that experience, so
It's not unreasonable to expect, but but
right.
still, the time is on their side now, and let's let you hope that continues. They're doing all the right
Absolutely.
things. So, yeah.
So Martin, you can watch us on YouTube
Yes,
live every episode at Rhode Island Broadcasting. So please subscribe, click that little bell so you always know when we go live because you don't want to miss a thing.
mhm.
And I keep saying every time the two hosts that come on the following episode always seems to manage to be better than the previous show all the time. It keeps getting better and better and better. So now, tomorrow, Becky and Ira are going to have to outdo us
Oh man,
because this is going to be awesome. Not
pressure's
to
on,
hype it up
kids.
too much.
Pressure's on, kids.
Yep. All
Oh,
right. So you can also watch us live on Facebook at Rhode Island at RI Broadcasting. Support the show with stars. We can always use two stars so we can put our 2 cents in, and and join the 10,000 other followers. 10,000. So that's why you should actually sponsor the show, so you get those, 20,000 eyes on
Mm,
your ad.
mm, mm.
Just saying.
Like that.
Just saying. So you can also watch us live on Twitch at RI_broadcasting. And again, like stars, you can donate bits because both of us need to put our 2 cents in. So,
Yes. Yeah.
so just donate a couple of pennies. That's
Yeah.
all. A couple of
Yeah.
pennies. Got to keep the show going. And of
Yes.
course, if you really want to support the show, you got to go to Patreon at RI
Patreon.
Broadcasting. You can get all kinds of merch like this wonderful mugs, stickers, pens, coasters,
Mm.
all kinds of stuff. So, and hey, why not just drop $3 and buy one of the shorts that we have? So that way you can have the shorts and I will take it down from like YouTube and all those, even if we make millions of views on it. Millions.
Millions. Fingers crossed.
All right, so let's get into this. Enough of this. Talking about nothing.
Mhm.
With all this stuff. But we've got. Oh my God, I cannot wait for this one. Gene Hackman tribute. There he is, right there as
Yeah.
Lex Luthor and Superman.
Great photo of him.
It is.
Interesting. Looking at photos for him throughout the years, on first glance, particularly in his youth, you wouldn't necessarily say he was classically handsome, and yet over time,
Yeah.
I'd say no. I get he has become, and some roles require a certain sense of being debonair or whatnot, but he's really grown into himself. But that's neither here nor there. I thought he was because it's Academy Award time, he is a two-time Academy Award winner, frequent
Absolutely.
nominee, had a 6+ decade career. Maybe give a little heads up, and he passed away under very bizarre circumstances. Give a little nod. Now, I know you talked about some last week, some of his best movies, or maybe some of the things, discovered a few things you wouldn't necessarily think he was involved with.
Yeah.
And I apologize for having not seen that, but in case you missed a couple, the ones that you might have missed that are noteworthy, he did a film early in his film career called "I Never Sang for My Father."
Yep.
Okay, so you covered that. Good. If you're a Gene Hackman fan, you want to throw that in the mix. Supporting role in Bonnie and Clyde, great film.
Oh, absolutely. Oh,
Yeah,
I seen that movie a couple of
yeah,
times very early in my years,
yeah, yeah. We were
and
young. Yeah.
it was fantastic. That was a great movie.
Yeah, no, it was, and his work is very important. I was out with friends Saturday night and said, "All right, best Gene Hackman movie," and one friend said, "Young Frankenstein,"
Love it.
and he's great in Young Frankenstein. It's a great comic turn for him, and he would do more of that as his career went on. But all right, so many films,
Yeah.
so many tremendous performances. Mississippi Burning, Scarecrow, The Conversation. From
Yeah.
I want to acknowledge he started out as many actors of that generation did in theater, and then did some
Yeah.
television work. And he was studying theater. He was good friends with Dustin Hoffman, actually, and they were sort
Mhm.
of emerging as the two standouts in their little group, at least by their peers.
Right.
And then they moved to New York, or Hackman moved to New York. While he was struggling, he actually worked at a Howard Johnson's restaurant. And I thought, oh, what a thing of the
I
past.
did too, so I
You
could
did
be
too.
the next Gene Hackman.
You could be. Look, I did not, but I know my dad worked, and all of his brother and his cousins all worked at a Howard Johnson's restaurant. I mean, so he was right up there with Gene Hackman. By the way, there was a time when my dad and Gene Hackman kind of looked like they could be brothers too. There's a little overlap in their overall demeanor and their stylings, but that's neither here nor there. But he worked off Broadway and on Broadway for a number of years before he had his film breakout in movies, and returned to Broadway in the 80s, or was it the 90s? I'm forgetting now. In a play called Death and the Maiden, very dark story about torture.
There's a
And
lot of
yeah,
Broadway.
yeah, yeah. And a lot of people who had their start in live theater, some don't go back because it's a different way to approach acting, and it's difficult,
Mm.
but he did. So hats
That's
off
the
to him.
true acting, really.
Yeah, i- different demands, and they're hard, and they're hard. So he did all of that. He has a special place in my heart, and this is where the bulk of the tribute comes into. So growing up until for many, many years, my mom decided what movies we were going to see. And I joke that I was 16 years old before I could see a movie without Julie Andrews in it. Take what you will from that. It's a slight exaggeration, but the first film that I saw that was not G-rated, sort of kid-oriented, was The Poseidon Adventure. And
Oh,
I had,
oh,
at its
let me tell
time,
you. Oh,
right? If you're of a certain age, that was an important movie in your life. And for
it
me,
was.
yeah, that was the first time I saw a film that wasn't, cartoons or Julie Andrews singing in it, and where there were serious issues, where there was a spectacle to it. And Gene Hackman was, the lead role in that film and drove the story. And that's when he came into my consciousness at the tender age of 8 or 9 years old. And I could I I couldn't get enough of him. So then if I saw Gene Hackman's name on something, I have to see it. Dad, can I see Scarecrow? No, you're too young. Dad, can I see that? I had to catch up. When can I see The French Connection? When it was on TV, edited for television 5 years later. But
Right.
it was a transformative film for me too, because I thought I would like to do this. I would like to tell stories in this manner and stories like this. And my mother, for some reason, said, all right, if you want to make movies, you have to do live theater first, which she wasn't necessarily wrong at the time, but it's not really true. But she enrolled me in theater programs and then sent me down on a path, working in theater for much of my adult life. But it really all started with The Poseidon Adventure and Gene Hackman.
It did
So
for me as well.
interesting.
Martin, I kid you not. The first couple of movies I was allowed to see was Willy Wonka and the
Yeah,
Chocolate
right.
Factory,
Right.
Wizard of Oz. The third one, The Poseidon Adventure.
Look at
Of
that.
course, I got to watch all the Elvis movies because my mom and dad watched the Elvis movies.
Sure.
That
So,
goes without
But
saying.
that
But
was on
real
T but that was
movies,
on TV, not in the theater, I would imagine.
yes,
Yeah, yeah,
right.
in the theater,
So
yeah,
Poseidon Adventure, I actually had that at number 5 because of that nostalgia and
yeah,
what it meant to me. And they
mhm.
were all upset.
You're all upset. Well, look, the film does not stand the test of time in terms of a work of art, but
Right.
in its time, it was kind of a landmark, and there were some good performances. You have music by a young John Williams, an early film
Yup.
score for him, right? I mean, there's a lot going on,
It
and
was
it's
fantastic. I
yeah, it
loved
was.
it.
It really was. I've even read the novel that it's based on. Not a great work piece of literature, let me tell you. But
So Hugo wants to know if you could see Mary Poppins. Of
yeah,
course, that has Julie Andrews. So yes, he was
yes,
allowed.
yeah, Julie Andrews,
Um,
absolutely,
The Sound of Music, yes,
multiple
because it was
times.
Julie Andrews.
Yes, yes,
And Chakra, welcome Chakra. Uh, Unforgiven, The Quick and the Dead, great movies
yeah,
also. Great.
absolutely.
He was in a lot of great movies.
I
I
mean,
mean, that's what he did.
honestly, pick three of them. If all he at random, if all he did was Mississippi Burning,
Oh my god, that's my number one.
Mississippi Burning, Crimson Tide, and let's just say the French Connection. I'm not saying they're the best, but if you just did those three, you're like, that's a hell of a career. So you can look at his, 2 dozen, 3 dozen movies, pick any two or three, and you say that's a healthy career. Goodbye. End of discussion. But when you look at the breadth of it, it's amazing. It's amazing. So we'll just
Yeah,
wrap up. Yeah,
what I did, Martin, I had Mississippi Burning, French Connection, I had Hoosiers, I had Scarecrow, and the Poseidon Adventure.
yeah,
Obviously, Poseidon Adventure was there because of the nostalgia of the
yes.
movie for me.
And and
You
that's
know,
important. That
it is.
counts. When one's curating one's own list, that will happen. You'll key into something. It may not be the best work of art, but it has
No,
meaning for you. And I can't imagine things would have been very different for me for not having seen it. And it was also, I went to the movie. I remember when I saw it with my dad. It wasn't my mom taking me to see Sound of Music for the fourth or fifth time. I went with my dad one night when he came from work. We were very excited, and I didn't know what to expect other than the TV commercials look compelling. But it was just a perfect night in a 9-year-old's life, and it was a film I could not stop thinking about. And again, with that came the interest in who does this, who tells stories this way, who makes these things, actors, directors,
Exactly.
and it put me down a path. And Gene Hackman was a big part of that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Ever since I saw Poseidon Adventure, I was a big Gene Hackman fan.
There you
You
go.
know, I loved his movies. I thought Gene Hackman probably picked his movies out better than almost any other actor.
Yeah, yeah, he did. And
I
I
mean,
think
except for Superman 4, but that's besides the point.
that was a money thing. That was a look,
Absolutely.
we all got to eat. We all that was
Becky's
like
in the
one another
house. Good
house
morning,
movie.
Becky.
Yeah.
So
Hey.
yeah, I mean, you can go on and on with the
Yeah.
list of movies. I mean, you can come up with 10 movies, put them there, and it's
Yeah.
totally understandable.
Well, we just say thank you, Gene Hackman. Rest in peace. We hope we get to the bottom of what happened. We hope none of you suffered, but he leaves an extraordinary legacy to continue to enrich us as time since movies are preserved. Go back and see some of
Absolutely.
these. If you've seen them before, rewatch your favorites. If you haven't seen some of these, fill in the gap with some excellent, excellent films.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with his library of
Yeah,
films. You can't
yeah,
go wrong. In fact, I suggest, when people binge watch stuff, watch a Gene Hackman movie
yeah.
every weekend for the
Right.
next,
For the
what,
next 5 years.
70 weeks.
Yeah,
You can't go wrong,
yeah,
really.
yeah.
You just leave out Superman 4, you leave out maybe Welcome to Mooseport. Although I did like the
I
movie, I thought it was nice.
Oh yeah, it's better than Superman 4. Come on.
Oh, it is definitely better than Superman
Yeah.
4.
Oh,
Definitely. But
man.
he's had a lot of great ones. So
Yeah.
absolutely. Rest in peace, Gene.
All right.
With that being said,
Mm-hmm.
TV premiere time. After this, it's all we're going to talk all movies for the
Okay.
rest of the time after this. But this is pretty good because, I got the next 2 weeks schedule and there's a lot of shows coming out,
Okay.
that are premiering for the next 2 weeks.
Mm.
Look, I mean, March 3rd, that's today. Celtic City, or technically it's Celtics City,
Celtics.
on HBO at 9 p.m. I don't have any. I never heard of this until I wrote it down today. So today, the day it comes out, is the first time I've ever heard this.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's something to do with Ireland or the Boston
Oh, the
Celtics.
Boston
It could be
Celtics.
about Boston. Who knows? Have no idea. But it
Okay.
starts on HBO tonight at 9 p.m.
Right, but it could also be a period drama, set in the 4th century with clans of
Exactly.
Celts, killing each other with interesting weapons. Either way, it's
It
good,
might
right?
be. It might be.
Okay.
It could be basketball players doing the same thing to people.
Okay. Now that would be intriguing. That would be intriguing. Okay.
Tomorrow, Daredevil. This one has been talked about a lot.
Oh
Daredevil
yeah.
Born Again starts on Disney Plus.
Okay.
I'm sure it's just wonderful, just like the original.
Give it a chance. Give it a. They're trying to
You
clean it
got to
up.
give it a shot, right?
They're trying to do. They're trying to get it right this time.
Yeah, you would hope. It's their second crack at it.
Uh,
Third, if you count the movie.
uh,
All right. Also tomorrow, With Love, Megan on Netflix.
Okay.
I'm
know.
not saying these are all winners. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Of course, the 5th, this one right here, The Amazing Race,
Okay.
on Wednesday, right after the second episode of Survivor,
Okay.
which I love Survivor, so I always watch that.
Okay.
I probably will watch The Amazing Race because,
Why
unless
not?
there's something else on.
Pairs well with Survivor.
Yeah, it does. It does. That is at 9:30 on Wednesday. Then there's on the 6th, Deli Boys.
Deli Boys. That sounds intriguing.
Deli Boys on Hulu. So I'm guessing it's about a deli.
Okay. I like it. I'll check
So
that
they're going
out.
to slice up the comedy on that one.
There you go. There you go.
All right. Beauty in Black on Netflix and For the Win on Prime. For the Win. I don't know.
I don't know.
Could be about a documentary about Hollywood Squares, maybe?
No, maybe that's what we need, a documentary on Hollywood Squares. Oh, man.
Exactly.
So, um, so
Danny's
Danny,
in the house as
yes,
well.
hi, Danny. It was very nice to say. Give me a shout out there. Hi,
He's
Danny.
already talking about his Lakers. Okay, Danny. Lakers, save it for Friday. Save
Yeah.
it for Friday at Sports
Okay.
Unfolded. We're talking TV and movies right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get with the program.
Yeah.
There is a basketball documentary about the brawl in
Oh.
2004 between players and fans. Is that the Malice at the Palace or something like that?
Hmm.
That was, I think, Detroit Pistons.
Yeah. I'd be
Hey,
interested in seeing that. Hey, let me ask you, since we brought up Celtics very quickly in basketball, do you remember Marty on the Celtics, Marty Conlon, going back to the 90s?
oh yeah,
All
yeah.
right. Put a pin in that. Next time we do a show together, I got a Marty Conlon story for you.
Marty Conlon.
Yeah.
Let me write that down.
All right.
Marty Conlon. You got a Marty Conlon story?
You do.
I don't even think his family had a Marty Conlon
They
story.
might. They might. It's a nice story. It's a nice story.
So Becky says Deli Boy sounds like porn.
We'll find out. We'll find out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So where was I? The 7th Formula One Drive to Survive it's on Netflix. Is this like a reality show? It sounds like it.
But how do you? I mean, but if it is, it'd be a real reality show, not a fake reality show, right? Because they're
Oh,
actually doing.
Hugo says For the Win is a soccer show.
All right, cool. American soccer or international?
Yeah, he didn't specify.
Interesting.
Didn't specify. Could be about Benfica, Hugo. Benfica. Came for the pastrami sandwiches, stay for the punch.
You know, do that for some people. It's the other way around. They came for the porn, but they stayed for the good pastrami.
Yeah, that could be it. And everybody's getting acquainted with everybody in the chat room. That's all
That's
nice.
so nice. Yeah, yeah.
Such nice
I should tell you,
viewers.
Ron, the last time we did a show together, and I think that you did a TV, What's Coming Up, you talked about American Primeval, and it was on that mention that I thought I'd give it a look. So thank you. It was
fantastic.
stunning. It was stunning.
Yeah. Oh my God. Right off the top, it was stunning.
Yeah. Now, really, if you just watch the first half hour and turned away, it's like, okay, it was a full experience. So,
great series. I finished the first season. Hopefully there's another. I don't know. It doesn't have to because it has an ending.
It's complete. I would, do something else with that kind of excellence, But,
yeah. I mean, if it ends there, I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
And I would probably watch it again, in about a year.
Yeah. Worth a second
and it was fantastic. I love Westerns. I love good Westerns. I don't like bad Westerns because a bad Western is really bad.
Yeah. Sure.
But that was fantastic. Loved it. Let me see what else is on the 7th. When No One Sees Us on Max. Power Book 3 Raising Canaan on Stars, 8 p.m. on the 7th. That is a very notable TV show. I have people that are hooked on that show. I have never watched any of them. But when it's all done, that's probably when I'll start watching them.
Okay.
Because I can't get into it if I don't know it's going to end properly.
You don't want to commit. All right.
I don't want to commit.
You've been burned too many times. You've been burned. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So it's about women's soccer in MLS.
Oh, that sounds interesting. For the win. Okay.
There we go. For the win. Let me see. The 9th of March, American Idol comes back. I mean, I used to watch it all the time, and I haven't watched it since it came back, mostly because I can't commit to that many days. I can't commit to that many days to watch a show in the same week because you have to watch it live in order to know what happens, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, can't commit. It's not going to happen. I don't watch The Voice. I don't watch Masked Singer. None of them,
Uh,
because I cannot commit that many days. I got things to do, people to
you got a
see.
life to live. You got a show to produce
Exactly.
daily, couple of them.
Exactly.
I only
Hugo
watched
says
once.
American Idol is not the same. Well, yeah, it is. That's the problem.
It's
It's the same.
it's you'd like it to be different. You'd like more
I
different.
would. I would.
I only
Um,
I watched The Voice one season a couple years back, but I had a friend in it. He and his son were contestants, Jim and Sasha
oh,
Allen. If you watched it, and they did very well, so that was very
that's good.
exciting. Yeah, yeah,
That's good.
yeah.
Well, that's a reason to watch it.
That's a reason to watch. I need
That's a
something like
reason to
that.
watch.
Like if you were on American Idol, like I'd tune in. Absolutely, I'd watch
Right.
everything. So
Right.
okay, Ron.
If I was on
think you should
American
do that.
Idol,
I'd watch. I'd vote for you.
oh, it would be funny. Like, I can hit the notes, Martin.
Okay.
It may not sound good, but I can hit the
I think you
notes.
hit them. Yeah. You can hit a
Like,
lot of stuff. Sure.
Look, I spent a lot of time playing Rock Band in my life, right?
Okay.
And I gold star many songs.
All right.
It may not be, able to listen to it. I may break some windows, may
Look,
get some dogs howling outside.
Tom Waits has a great career, so if he can do it, it's all how you
Right.
start.
I look at, Bob Dylan, look at his
Yeah.
career.
Yeah. It's
He
all how
has
you
a terrible voice and he made it.
and yet, right.
Right.
So,
All right.
before
Also on the 9th, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Do you watch that stuff on Bravo?
I do not.
Yeah.
I've heard of it.
I would not expect you to do that.
No. I mean, again, there's so much time. There is some TV I do watch, and yeah.
Yeah. How about Naked and Afraid? That returns on the 9th on Discovery. That's always a
Okay.
classic one.
I like Naked and Afraid just because it irritates my mother so much. No, but I watched one series where someone, I'm forgetting her name now, but someone I followed on Instagram did some Naked and Afraid, and I thought, well, she's an interesting person, at least something or other, and yeah, it was actually interesting, whatever one thinks. It was. Sometimes it's very tough. It's very interesting. People have compelling stories. So whatever.
I just don't understand why they have to be naked.
No, because that's what makes people tune in. We could Be Afraid, in that same premise, but not as many people tune in. You put Naked and Afraid now.
Right. Yes. Yeah. That is the point right there.
Yeah.
Dark Winds on AMC at 9 p.m. on the 9th. I have not watched this. I'm a little intrigued because I guess it's what, 4th season?
Okay.
And I have never heard of it until last year.
Okay.
So I'm gonna check it out eventually. Again, may wait until it's over. Here's a good one. You like food, right? Crash Course Cuisine. That is tough to say, let me tell you.
Yeah.
I don't even
Crash
know if I
Course
said it.
Cuisine. Oh yeah, say it 5
With
times.
Hudson Yang on Nat Geo.
All right.
Nat Geo.
Interesting.
And The Righteous Gemstones on HBO in its final season.
Okay.
I did not know they had other seasons.
I thought they just had one. Well, maybe it's 2, and 2 is the final season. All right.
Maybe it is.
Okay.
And of course, another one of those classy TV reality shows, I'm guessing, Filthy Fortunes on Discovery.
Don't know that one.
I don't either.
All right.
On the 10th, American Manhunt, Osama bin Laden on Netflix. To me, that sounds like a doc movie.
Yeah. I was going to say, didn't we get bin Laden? No.
Right. I mean, like, this is already a long time now. I mean, is there new info?
I don't know. I think we know the story, but we'll find out.
So Danny says you don't look interested.
I'm very interested. He says I'm not rolling my eyes. I got my glasses on. I don't know. So no. Very interested.
Martin is interested because he's waiting for the crap that I'm gonna announce that's coming, and he's like, "Why are people watching this?" That's what you're reacting to.
I'm
Is why
I'm
are
I,
people watching this?
I'm not interested in the Housewives.
Right,
Real
right.
Housewives of
Oh,
whatever.
there's more
But
you're not going to be interested in. Oh, there's more.
okay, okay.
So, also on the 10th, Gypsy Rose Life after lockup on Lifetime at 9 p.m. said that is
Wait,
something you're not going to probably watch.
wait. What is? But Gypsy Rose lockup? What? I'm.
Gypsy Rose
Yeah.
Life after lockup.
I Depending on which Gypsy Rose they're talking about, I might be interested. I don't know
See,
when. I don't know who is she. Does this have anything to do with the subject matter of the Broadway musical Gypsy, or is this a completely? That's how
it
out of touch.
is probably something else.
Okay, all right. It's not about Gypsy Rose Lee, because if it was about her or her family, I'm in. Okay,
Probably not. Was she
all
in
right.
prison?
I don't know. I don't
Oh,
know.
well, it has to be somebody that was in prison.
Okay,
And they got released, and it's life after lockup now.
okay. So yeah, no, can't be that family at all.
Probably not.
But she's referencing her name.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I might check
It
that
was
out.
probably somebody that was on a previous season of lockup.
Okay. Okay. And apparently she killed her mom. All right, now I am intrigued. Okay.
Yeah.
Now
See?
um,
She's the one who killed her mom. Okay, so Becky answered the question. So, and if that doesn't get you excited, then this certainly will. Confessions of Octomom.
oh my God. Is she still around? Oh my
Yes,
God.
apparently. It's on Lifetime at 10 p.m. Same night as Gypsy. You can get Gypsy Rose and Octomom at the same time.
Yeah,
The same night.
that's why we can record. We can't watch them at the same
You
time.
don't want to miss that.
No,
You,
no, I don't.
you don't want to miss.
Octomom, like when you can't turn away from a car crash, has that kind of appeal.
Yeah.
It's
So Becky says the mom had Munchausen by proxy and kept her sick for years.
for Gypsy. Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible.
Told her she couldn't walk or eat, was on a feeding tube, kept her bald. Then at like 20, she lost it and killed her mom.
Okay.
Sounds like a
Wait,
great
that's
person to bring
right.
home.
It's interesting now. So now that I know a little bit about this, and it has nothing to do with Gypsy Rose Lee of the musical Gypsy, whose mom was difficult, but okay, whatever. And what a sad story. And I don't know
Yeah.
if this is exploitative or what. I don't know the nature of this, but what a horrible thing to have to endure. And now I'm intrigued about learning more. This is not
So the hits keep coming.
okay.
On the 12th, mark it on your calendar, Martin.
Okay, on the 12th, got it.
Temptation Island on Netflix.
Ah,
There we go. And also, Am I Being Unreasonable on Hulu?
I love the title. Oh, that's great. Am I being unreasonable? All right.
Probably.
Yeah. I might check that one out. I might check out Am I Being Unreasonable.
One of the shows I am looking forward to is The Wheel of Time on Prime. Comes back on the 13th for season 3. I just finished season 1 and I loved it.
Okay. Yeah, is that the one with oh God, who's the lead woman in that?
I don't know her name.
Rose. I'm blanking on it. I think Wheel of Time has been on my list. I just haven't seen it. But
Yeah,
I think
I
that was
watched
on my
season
list.
1,
And it was
like a week ago.
okay.
It was really good.
All right.
There's not many episodes, so you don't have to invest like a huge amount of time.
Right.
So I got to
Well,
see season 2 now.
I'm intrigued. Okay, because if it's good, right, then we have 2 more seasons. One in the bank and one coming up. So okay.
Right. So that's good. That's a good start.
Rosamund Pike.
The Zoo had 3 seasons and
right. I think it may have Rosamund Pike in it. And correct me, people, if I'm wrong, but if she's doing something, I try and watch it. So there we go.
Well, there you go. Long Bright River on Peacock. Adolescence on Netflix. And I know you're tuning into this one. Top
Mm,
Chef,
Top
Top
Chef.
Chef
Top Chef.
on Bravo at 9 p.m. on the 13th.
Okay. I'm not. I'm not timing that, but I have seen it, and I've seen enough. But all right. Well, there's a lot of TV coming out. There's
Yeah.
this is the no longer do we live in the day of 4 channels and PBS. This is
No, no. You have options.
yes.
And if
That's
you don't like any of the options, you can always just stream something from like the 50s.
yeah. That's always a great go-to. Some classic television from
Yeah.
the 50s and 60s. Yeah. Good. YouTube, my favorite channel. There we go.
Yeah, so it's not really that spectacular. There's a couple
Mhm.
of shows in there, you
Mhm.
know. There's a couple of intriguing ones, and then there's, some of that typical crap.
Yes, naked and hungry. Yeah, naked.
Exactly.
Top chef
Exactly.
naked. Top chef naked and afraid.
All right. Oh,
Oh,
we're just rolling along with this time right now.
all right.
Let's get to your top 5.
All right. So because it was the Academy Awards, and because I saw very few films that were nominated, I thought we'd at least celebrate movies a little bit. And so I came up with my personal top 5 that are not The Godfather or Mary Poppins, because those are my 1 and 2 interchangeably depending on my mood. So taking them out of contention because they're in a league of their own.
So
What
this is a Martin's top 5
top
right
5?
here.
Yes. Yes. And again, if I was to do justice, I'd probably have a top 50, right? So you have to do 5. But these films, for a combination of both the quality of the film and or the influence they've had on me, this is what I would look at, the top 5. And if you haven't seen any of these, and most people probably have seen most of them, go watch them. So there we go. Number
Good
5,
morning, Kyle.
uh,
Thank you for joining.
Inglorious Bastards. And to be clear,
Oh,
the Quentin Tarantino one in 2009, because there was a version from the 70s that I have not
yeah, that one
seen.
is unwatchable.
Okay. But no, the one with Christoph Waltz and others, magnificent film. And I have to watch it every so often. And even if I could just watch that first scene, the interrogation scene with Christoph Waltz, that is something
Oh, okay.
else. Yeah. Okay. Number 4, Citizen Kane. It's on everybody's top list, best movies, most important. If for no other reason, you can just look at Citizen Kane as there were movies made before Citizen Kane and movies made after, but it's one of those films. Landmark changed everything, even
I
if
gotta
he doesn't
admit,
like it.
I've never
Yeah.
watched it.
It's worth taking a look. And when I first did, I was like, what's all the fuss about? But when you look at how films were made, and if you look at some sort of historical context, whether you enjoy the film or not, this is one of these landmark moments where you said, well, the world is different after this came out. Did not win the Academy Award for Best Picture, which is like, how could it not? Instead, How Green Was My Valley won Best Picture in 1941 or 42. A fine movie about coal
Oh, yeah.
miners in Scotland, but Citizen Kane redefined film. So I put it on my list. If you haven't seen it, Ron, whomever, go sometime go watch Citizen Kane.
I will try to get to that ASAP.
All right. Okay. Number 3, The Sting, a perfect movie. A perfect movie. Stylistically, story-wise, the fantastic adapted music by Scott Joplin. It's George Roy Hill, a masterpiece. It was rendered with so much love and attention to detail. You've got Paul Newman and Robert Redford,
Yeah, you're
and
not going to get much
and
better than that.
no, and a cast of every supporting role. One artist better than the next. The Sting is so much fun.
It was a
And I
great
had a
movie.
friend who had not seen it up until a couple of years ago. I'm like, what rock were you living under? We had to have a Sting party and and correct this error. And think, all right, number 2, Jaws, a perfect movie.
Oh my
A
God. I've seen
perfect
it a
movie.
billion times. What a
A
masterpiece.
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 I saw it a billion times in the theater back when, there was no home video. So for fear of I may never see this again, I went every time I could that summer. Every
Well,
time I
I got a great story for you about Jaws.
could. Yeah.
I went to see Jaws in the theaters with my sister. I
Okay.
was young. I probably shouldn't have been able to get in.
All right.
Probably, we'll just say that. And we saw the movie.
Mhm.
The following weekend, my family decides to go to the drive-in theater.
Mm.
Back then, we had drive-in
Oh
theaters,
yeah, I remember them.
and we went to it, and the whole family is there, and me and my sister are in the back of the seat, and we were talking. You know the scene where Richard Dreyfuss goes down in the cage?
Sure. Yeah.
She turns around and says, "Oh, he's dead." And I looked
Yeah.
at her like, "We just saw this a few days ago, right?" I was like, "He doesn't die." And she's like, "Yes, he does." And I'm like, "Do you want to bet?" The easiest dollar I've ever made in my life.
That's funny.
Easiest dollar.
Wow. Similarly, I had a friend who made a bet with someone on the Yankees Red Sox game of what was it, 76, the extra game they had to play to settle the season. And here's the thing. The game was being rerun on Channel 11 in New York like a year later. So my friend Scott goes to, I forgot who it was in high school. He goes, the guy's like, Yankees suck, Red Sox are going to win. He goes, I'll bet you $10 on it. You got it. And the guy just didn't realize it was a rerun of the game. I was like, well, Scott, the easiest $10 you will ever make in your life.
In
There.
fact, I'll even say that Bucky Dent is going to win the game.
Yeah, right. $20 as Bucky Dent hits a walk-off home run. I'll take that money. Yeah, all right. Yeah, okay.
Oh, that's
Good one,
beautiful.
Ron. Well, your sister didn't remember, but she was sure of it. That's
It was
funny.
only like 3 days.
Yeah. She wasn't paying attention. That's
Wasn't
what you
paying
get when you
attention.
pay attention. Maybe she could.
She was a few cells short of a full prison. We'll just say
Okay. All right.
that.
Okay. Enough said. All right. My number one film that's not The Godfather or Mary Poppins. It's a brilliant movie. When I was teaching a film class, I made sure this was always in the syllabus. It is probably the most prescient film ever made, 1976. Sidney Lumet's masterpiece, written by Patty Chayefsky. If you don't know it yet, it's Network.
Oh, okay.
That is,
Yeah.
when I saw it, I was just dazzled by it. Dazzled by the writing, the performances, the insight on culture, and it is proven to be every ridiculous thing that happens in that movie as satire has pretty much come into fashion.
That movie won for Best Actor.
Yeah, Peter
I know
Finch.
that.
Peter Finch, and he received it
Yep.
posthumously. He died before he could
Yep.
accept it. How sad. Robert Duvall, Faye Dunaway, William Holden, fantastic performances.
Yep.
An original screenplay. Sidney Lumet, one of the great filmmakers in my lifetime. I'm not sure he ever won an Academy Award, but his films are masterpieces. And Network is funny. It is dark, but my God, it saw where the world was heading decades before we got there. And if only we took notice
Yeah.
and went down different paths. So there we go. It stayed
It's
with
a
me
good
all these
list.
years later.
It's a very good list.
Yeah. And love to
What, there
throw.
was one movie I didn't see?
I think it was Citizen Kane. Yeah.
Right. The
That was the
one
one.
that hard to believe I haven't seen it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I try to watch everything, especially if they're winning awards.
Yeah.
I just never got around to seeing that.
Easily accessible on one streaming service or another, or whatever. It's worth a look if one is a film buff, enthusiast, whatever. It was an important film, and I think ultimately I liked it on second and third and fourth viewing. I've grew to like it much more than the first one. I was probably too young when I first saw it.
Yeah.
I went, meh.
No, that's a pretty good list, I gotta say. It's surprising, actually.
Well,
I'm surprised you had Jaws in there.
No, Jaws has got to be.
And that is my favorite movie classified as a horror.
Yeah. Most people won't necessarily go to it as a horror movie. I'm like, oh, that's a monster movie if ever there was one. And
Oh my God,
there's no
yes.
better. There's no
Oh,
better.
it changed culture
Yeah, it did. Well, it's another
because
one of those
people did
landmark
not
films.
go into the ocean.
No, well, that's there was that.
Yeah.
There was that, and then it gave us that. Even though Spielberg had done films before, that was his breakout film, and
Oh,
Lord
absolutely.
knows, the body of work he's given us. I noticed Danny
Yep.
was talking another Spielberg film, Jurassic Park, which is sort of Jaws with
Love that one
dinosaurs.
too.
But
Love that one too.
yeah, and I love the novel that it's based on too. I reread it every so often.
All right, so we are up against it. So I'm gonna fly through these fun facts.
Okay.
We're gonna try to get to everything, so bear with us. But I am gonna go through these fun facts because I don't want to not do it because I'm on with you.
Okay. Let's do
Fun
it.
facts of the sound of music.
Okay.
You're gonna love this as soon as I find it.
Becky's mom wouldn't swim in her in-ground pool. Well, that's because of Jaws, right? Not the Sound of Music. Yeah. I'm assuming.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Imagine if you couldn't do it because of Sound of Music. You got a real problem.
That's
All right, Sound of Music, fun facts.
Mhm.
Now, don't forget, this was a 1966 Oscar?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's tackle the first thing. Christopher Plummer disliked working on this movie. He referred it to the sound of mucus.
I have heard that.
Mucus.
The Sound of Mucus. Yeah.
So Christopher Plummer accidentally said the word captain in the argument scene, and director Robert Wise found it so amusing he kept it in there.
Mm.
So he called, I guess, her captain.
Yeah, something like that. It was just sort of like a slip, but it sort of holds up. It sort of works. It's a very human moment, and sometimes in conversation, we all say peculiar things like that. Yeah.
So during the "I have confidence" scene,
Mm-hmm.
Maria trips by accident, but they left it in because it worked.
Yeah, yeah.
It's funny, I have confidence, and then you trip and fall.
Yep. Nice
But
touch.
he wasn't supposed to trip and fall. But they kept it in. Let me see. Footage from the yet to be released Mary Poppins landed Andrews the role. And they were talking Doris Day, Anne Bancroft, Leslie Caron, and Grace Kelly for this role.
Interesting.
She got it because of the footage from a movie that's not even out yet.
That's
so she must have handed them the reel, and
someone got a hold of the dailies. Wow. With
Yeah.
Julie Andrews, there was the whole picture because a good actor, but you didn't have to dub her over with Marnie Nixon. She had the voice to do it. Unlike, with all due respect, I love Audrey Hepburn, who played My Fair Lady in the film, needed to be dubbed over by Marnie Nixon. Natalie Wood needed to be dubbed over. Julie Andrews, you got the whole
She could do
package. Yeah. Extraordinary talent.
Yeah. And that's why I like the Grease movie so much, because John Travolta sang.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty good. When you have the actor that can actually do that, that's not very common.
Nope.
Speaking of dubbing, singer Bill Lee provided the singing voice for Captain Von Trapp and not Christopher Plummer.
I did not know that. That's interesting. Okay.
See? There we go.
That's a good one.
And this is always great. It ties into that Mary Poppins role. Julie Andrews sang Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious to the children between shooting to keep them entertained.
That's great.
And they thought that she made that song up for them.
That's great. That's great. I like that.
Oh,
Uh,
that is brilliant.
you know,
Brilliant.
you could almost work supercalifragilisticexpialidocious into the Sound of Music,
I'm
in a
surprised
song.
that
I'm
they
not saying you
probably
should have,
asked.
right? But it could have been done.
Could we use that? No, it's in Mary Poppins.
We don't know it. Now, I'm sure Rodgers and Hammerstein wouldn't have been happy, but it would have worked.
No.
It would have worked. God.
Yeah, so that is a quick version of the fun facts, the Sound of Music. Um, it's like when you're talking musicals, that's in that list, right?
Hmm.
I mean,
And
it's right
it's
there.
certainly an important one. And that I think the film version of that musical is actually superior. I'm not crazy about the play itself. I think the film was excellent. There's Julie Andrews is a big part of it. The orchestration that you can use for the film
Yeah,
is it almost you feel the mountains in Austria, those Alps. You hear it in the
yeah,
music, and in that opening scene. Here's a fun fact: that opening scene with the mountains, and then the hillside, and she comes spinning out.
right here.
Julie, right there, that's the one. It's a magnificent shot, and the sound of the music, no pun intended, is overwhelming. But funny thing, when they were filming it, that shot was taken from a helicopter, and I have seen the footage because they did a TV special on outtakes
Really?
from favorite films. And one time where they're filming it, she's out there with her arms up doing the spin, and from the wind of the helicopter, it knocked her down
That's
a
funny.
couple of times.
See?
And it's great to see that footage of her fall. And they did not keep that, unlike when she tripped.
No, no,
But
they
no, but
obviously
the
would
right,
not keep that.
but the wind of the helicopter kept knocking her down. It's hysterical. But all right.
Oh God!
Yeah.
See, they needed to make spoof movies back then.
Yeah.
That's what they
Yeah.
needed.
Sound
So
of
that
Music.
way, when the helicopter does knock down, they can use it. Yeah.
It's a
All
big
right,
book.
Martin. I mean, we could talk about each one of these subjects forever, I'm
Sure.
sure. But you have a brush with
Academy Award
an Academy
greatness.
Award winner,
Yeah.
right?
So, having worked in the performing arts, I've had occasion to work with a lot of people in film and music and theater. And so I have some fun stories about them. This one, Academy Award winner, William Hurt, Best Actor, Children of a Lesser God. Back in
Yep.
1990, I was a grad student at the Yale School of Drama and working at the Yale Repertory Theater. They were doing a production of Anton Chekhov's Ivanov. William Hurt was playing the title role, and artists from the Moscow Art Theater were working on it too. Their artistic director was directing his adaptation. Their scene designer and dramaturg came over, and then other roles were fleshed out by other American actors. But William Hurt was the lead celebrity. Also in that production, names you might know from film: Austin Pendleton, Jelko Ivanek, uh, Francis Conroy, and a very young Liev Schreiber, who was in his second year in the acting program at the School of Drama. Were all in this production of Ivanov.
Wow.
At that time, I was working as a publicist for the Rep. I was on that team, and I was out shopping around William Hurt to do newspaper interviews, and the newspapers were very interested in interviewing William Hurt. So, I got to spend a fair amount of time with him, and he was very nice, but he was a bit of a pain in the butt too. He was always whining about something. And what I remember, there was one thing I needed: publicity photos, and everything wasn't instant on the phone. And he said, call my agent. He goes, whatever he sends you, you can use. His agent sent me these photos with him like this with a cigarette in his hand. And he sees it, he goes, well, what the hell is this? I'm like, that's the picture your agent sent. He goes, I don't smoke anymore, and I don't respect people who do. I don't want to use this. I'm like, okay, fine. It's like, you did say, have my agent send the picture. Like, you need to have a talk with your agent, my friend.
Yeah.
So I get another picture. He doesn't like that. Then we rewrite his bio for the program 15 times. So it's like, okay. But we're still getting along. And by the way, he was wonderful in the production. And he was actually the hero of the Yale Repertory Theater, because one night there was a fire that started in the alleyway behind the theater, and he was the one who noticed the smoke first and alerted the fire marshals, and nothing happened. It was not a disaster, but William Hurt was like the man, was right on top of that. But if one thing he did do was he never showed up for his interview with the New York Times. Alex Wichtel, I think you pronounce her name, young, new to the Times then, was doing a feature interview with William Hurt. He just didn't show up, and Alex and I were having coffee, waiting for him. And again, we didn't have the cell phone to like, Bill, where are you? I had to call the company manager to try and track him down. Went to a payphone and called his agent. He just never showed up, and I don't remember what happened. Not good. Not
No,
okay.
that's good.
But the real story was on opening night. There was a big opening night party at Yale's Beinecke Rare and Antiquarian Book Library, and it was because he was in it, and the people from the Moscow Art Theater were there, and it was a lovely, fun affair. And my wife, she was then my fiance, had come up to see the show, and she came to the party afterwards, and I was going to introduce her to William Hurt. And I thought, yeah, I'm going to introduce my wife to the big movie star. So she was all excited. And so we're at the Beinecke, and, Bill comes up to me and says, "Hey, Bill, great show. Congratulations. I'd like to introduce you to my fiance, Barbara." And he goes, his response was, and he's like 2 feet from me and 2.5 feet away from Barbara. He goes, wait a minute. Do we have a matinee tomorrow? It was a Friday night. We have it. So yeah, Bill, every Saturday at 2. And he goes, fuck! And he turns around and he runs out of the library, never to be seen again. And, my friends and colleagues are like, what the hell did you say to Bill? The star of the show just ran out of there. Like somehow my fault. They said, what did I say to him? I reminded him that he had a matinee tomorrow when he asked me, do we have a matinee tomorrow? And he ran the hell out of there like a bat out of hell. And, I was like, am I in trouble for this? But he was, look, he was terrific in that play. Decent human being for sure. Eccentric little bit. I've got a great story to tell. So I said, Barb, that was William Hurt.
That's a pretty funny story.
Yeah. So
that's a pretty funny
it is.
story. But you got to talk to him
every
right?
day for about a month. Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And
you have stories of these things. So
yeah. And that's a good one. And he was wonderful in the show, as was the whole ensemble. It was a very
that's right. Yeah, Martin just blew it. We had no longer a family show.
Oh, what? Oh, because I said, did I say
Yes.
can you edit? No, not live. You can edit me in the thing. So sorry. That was a quote.
Right. It was a quote. That's different.
Yeah.
It's like going to court. You can say it.
Yeah. But by the way, if it means anything, during the run of that show, Austin Pendleton was also in the show, and I had set up an interview with him with an NPR reporter. I was very excited to talk to him. And I said, can I get you guys anything to get him a cappuccino? And I bring him, like, Austin, here's your cappuccino. He grabs it, and he's doing something with the lid, and the lid pops off, and all the coffee spills. And he says what Bill said, only it was like, and I'm like, Austin, this is so-and-so from NPR. There we go. Let me get you another coffee.
See, Becky's comment, man, Martin's lived a good life, right?
Okay.
And, it's like we say this about you all the time, Martin, even in front of your face. No.
Okay.
No, you bring a certain amount of culture to this show, and we appreciate that because, we're a bunch of nobodies, and Martin, you've had some interesting things.
I've had a lot of fun.
Say, I love hearing the stories.
I thought you might. There we go.
Yeah. I think it is, Becky. You might be right. The first F-bomb on the show.
My apologies.
So think about it. The one cultured host we have, and he's the one that drops the F-bomb.
I did. But I was quoting Academy Award winner, the late, great William Hurt.
Yes. Just another legend,
Yeah.
Oh, man. Again, movies, right? He's got quite the extensive list.
Yes. Yeah. No. No. And stage work, film work, like everything from Children of a Lesser God to the Hulk and the Avengers. It's all there. And Chekhov
Yeah,
with the Moscow
yeah.
Art Theater.
People forget the movies that he's been in. I mean,
Yeah.
Avengers, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, people just like some of those actors just wanted to be involved in the project.
Hmm.
So they jump in and they don't even care what kind of a role they have.
Yeah.
They just want to be involved in
Yeah.
certain
Sure.
things, right?
Sure.
Because they're all fans.
It-
There's a lot of people that are just fans of something. It's like if you're a fan of The Walking Dead, right?
yeah.
And you just wanna
You want to be part of
be
it.
a part of it that turns into a zombie
Yeah.
and gets killed a special way, right?
And I mean, for me, it would have been Star Trek to be a walk on in anything Star Trek, anything
Yeah.
The Godfather, or anything Saturday
Even if
Night
you got
Live.
the red shirt on.
Yeah, give me the red shirt. Yeah, I'll be, I'll get killed by the Klingon. Sure. Yeah, I'll turn into an energy ball. Or yeah, I know, I know. So
Oh my god.
there we go.
That is too funny.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm gonna try to do this really quick.
Okay.
Because we're already at 7 minutes past the hour. Look, top 5 movies that won for best actor. So they
Okay.
had to have won for best actor, and then I put them in order of
Okay.
how good of the movie they are.
Okay.
So I'm sure that's going to be in there somewhere. Where?
Why? Who
I don't know.
did someone win Best Actor in The Godfather? I don't remember. I don't recall. It's a little hazy. It's a little fuzzy. Right?
All right,
Okay.
so there's all kinds of stuff like
Okay.
Nicolas Cage leaving Las Vegas. I don't know how he won for that, but that's what he did.
Okay.
Will Smith in King's Richard, Rami Malek for Bohemian Rhapsody, Al Pacino, Scent of a Woman, Michael Douglas, Jamie Foxx, Paul Newman, Color of Money, George C. Scott and Patton. And of
Mhm.
course, we mentioned like Peter Finch and William Hurt and all those movies, right? Not on my list.
Okay. I don't want to.
Not on my list.
Okay.
So we got to put it in perspective, right?
Okay.
All right. Honorable mentions. Mystic River. Sean
Oh,
Penn.
yeah. Yeah. That was intense.
That was a great movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honorable mention. Raging Bull.
Yeah.
I mean, these aren't even on my list.
Serious
Be
stuff.
prepared, Ira. Oh, where's Ira and Kenny right now? Honorable mention. Philadelphia. Tom Hanks.
Okay.
Fantastic movie.
He won. There was a period he won Best Actor like what was it 3 years in a row?
Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that.
I mean,
Yeah, he's had a good career.
yeah. Yeah. Move over, Gene
Oh.
Hackman. Right.
Well, Gene Hackman doesn't take a back seat to anybody.
No, I know. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Honorable mention, Rain Man, Dustin Hoffman.
Okay.
And honorable mention, French Connection,
Gene Hackman.
Gene Hackman.
The honorable.
That was my bubble movie. That was number 6.
Okay. Just
Missed.
on the outside. Okay.
All right. Number 5, Joker. Phoenix.
Okay.
Right?
That was a great performance.
First one was great. Second one, oh my God. I'd puke everywhere if
Okay.
he would have won that. That was number 5. I loved the first Joker movie. Loved it.
Okay.
Number 4, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Jack Nicholson.
Okay.
Love that movie. Loved
Great
it.
film. Great work. Yeah.
Absolutely wonderful. Number 3, I have Training Day.
Oh yeah. Boy, that was dark.
Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
I mean, I love just about every movie he's made.
Mm-hmm.
Glory might be my favorite of all of them.
Yeah. One of
He
my
didn't win
favorites.
for that. Go figure.
No. Okay. Excellent film.
Excellent. Number 2, The Godfather.
Godfather only number 2.
2.
What could be better than Brando and the guy? Now I'm curious. Okay.
Right. And this is the one that, I know some people aren't going to agree with this, but
Okay.
I absolutely love the movie. I think it was both funny and filled with all kinds of different kinds of drama, and just putting in the time slots
Okay.
of when the character was around.
Okay.
Forrest Gump. I absolutely love this movie. I've seen it so many times.
Mm-hmm.
And I just love how they tied in, Elvis moving his hips, according, and
Sure.
and all of the other events that happen is all accredited to Forrest Gump. I thought it was a genius way to put together a movie,
Mm-hmm.
and the movie itself just reminds me of somebody that I know
Okay.
and keep crossing paths in life. And you put those kind of things together and it makes a perfect storm, and why I have it number one.
Hmm.
Forrest Gump.
Okay. Well, again, for me, The Godfather, I think, will always be number one in anything, any way you want
Oh
to
yeah.
do it. But
Oh, I'm sure.
with that caveat that it really should be in its own category because it's not, Forrest Gump. All that you said, Hanks's performance, the film itself, it's an American treasure.
Yeah, look, I mean, when you make movies that have to do with, like, over time, it, it's not so simple to include all of these kind of events, and tie it into what you're trying to accomplish here. And I thought they did it perfectly. I think the writing
Yeah.
was perfect. They had such a great cast.
Hmm.
Sally Field. Oh, come on, Sally
Yeah.
Fields.
Oh yeah.
you know I mean, everybody was wonderful in the movie,
Hmm.
from Lieutenant Dan to Jenny.
Yeah.
Everybody was fantastic in it,
Mhm.
and all the characters along the way. And I don't know, it just hit home for me.
Sure.
Because before Forrest Gump, I wasn't that big of a Tom Hanks fan. I,
Oh,
I mean, he had
interesting.
big, it was funny, kind of inappropriate now, but but
Yeah.
it was okay. It
Hmm.
was good.
What you didn't like? What was it? Bachelor Party? That wasn't a cinematic
Yeah, there were
piece for
good
you.
movies.
Joe and
I
the
liked
Volcano.
them.
Yeah, yeah.
Joe versus the volcano.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it was his career became transformative. He started taking on films of substance and then delivered on them, and
Yeah.
like Philadelphia, Apollo 13, et cetera,
Right.
et cetera, et cetera. But
Yeah.
Forrest
I
Gump's a
loved
film.
Saving Private Ryan. That's my
Yeah,
favorite war film. War film.
yeah, yeah.
I loved it.
Hmm.
Again, it was one of those things. You get characters that want to perform in that movie because of the script of the movie, and you want to take those little roles like Matt Damon, Vin Diesel, all
Yeah,
those actors along the
yeah, yeah,
way, right?
yeah.
Ted Danson. I mean, they wanted to be part of it.
Part of something. They knew something was happening there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Becky said
So
she hadn't seen most of these movies. I think she has a recollection of seeing Gump as a child, but
yeah.
I'm happy to hear that she seems ready to commit to maybe watching The Godfather. I don't know why
I
I'm
mean,
so
the writing
emotionally
of The
invested.
Godfather was, bar none, right?
Yeah,
It was just, you're telling a story of a family, but the family's a little, you know,
high
over the
strung,
top.
high strung. It's that family story that makes it, and that it ties
Yeah.
into the American mythology, which is American mythology on screen are cowboys, astronauts, and gangsters. But it also harkens back to classical mythology. There is the
Yep.
hero's journey in the film. There are references to antiquity. I mean, it's a cinematic masterpiece, and people of every generation can enjoy it and relate to it on many levels. And guess
Yeah.
what? No one says the F bomb in The Godfather.
Right. Only here on this show.
Yeah, only here. My apologies, America. Yeah.
So,
This is a good list.
it's like we look for these kind of movies, and I
Yeah.
know I do. You know, I I love movies, but then I know what they are, right? The, like Poseidon Adventure. I know what it is. It's not
Mhm.
a masterpiece by no means, but it's one of those nostalgia things for
Yeah,
me.
it has its
And
place.
but when you start thinking about certain movies, I like you talk about Godfather, Pulp Fiction, stuff
Mm,
like that is just such a special movie
yeah,
that you can't like with the writing, the acting, and
yeah,
everything comes into play. The music that cues in the scenes and stuff.
mm,
Everything is perfect in those movies, and that's what makes a movie like legendary to me.
yeah, and such a wonderful experience, bigger than life. Um, and if we fell in love with them at a young age, the big screen and all these emotions that it triggers. What part? The boat needs the leg braces.
But see,
I,
that's just
the
it.
box. I think it's the box of chocolates. I think that life is a box.
Yeah, there you go. Life is like a box of chocolates.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's like all of those things is what I'm saying. You
yeah,
know, when you talk about Bubba, like it's a small part of the movie, but it's something that keeps getting referenced to all the time. And
yeah,
something bit me, it like that. It's just those little subtle things in the
yeah,
movie that are so massive, when you start adding them all together.
yeah.
And that is what makes it. So it's the leg braces, it's the shrimp boat, it's all of that stuff.
Hmm.
When he's talking on the stage at the
Yeah, yeah.
Washington Monument, like it's all those things.
It's a shame that we can never watch Forrest Gump again for the first time
Oh, I
because
know.
the first time you see that, it's always like the astonishment or the enjoyment. Every so many minutes, you get hit again, and now we
Yeah,
can go back and enjoy it, right? We can go back and enjoy it, but it's fun to watch it with people who have never seen it because you can sort of relive it. I'd actually wouldn't mind if it was possible to watch The Godfather with Becky because then I get to watch it through her eyes for the first time
exactly.
again. Yeah.
Exactly. Maybe we can do a watch party.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome. We make Clemenza sauce. That'd be great.
Yeah,
We all
so
make a,
so we should look into that.
be good.
Do a watch party, have it on so we're all watching it at the same time and
Yeah,
then the reactions.
yeah. I
I
like
mean, you'll be like, "Oh, I remember this.
that.
I watched it last week."
I just watched that yesterday. Sign me up. I will say this:
Oh,
apologies again for the
no.
William Hurt quote that broke the internet here, but no, for the foul language. But in all the great films and the great actors and great we talked about, somehow, somehow, oh my God, I'm having a senior moment. Wait, the Shawshank Redemption didn't get mentioned in all of this, and it didn't
Yeah,
get
how?
given what we were talking, it just slipped through the cracks. But it seems wrong. It seems wrong that somehow
Yeah.
Shawshank should have been in there.
There's
But
just so many great movies
yeah,
throughout time,
it is.
and
Yeah,
it's like, and they're different for like everything, right? There's
yeah,
always there's always something about a movie that makes it great, and and it's our own opinions.
yeah.
So your top five was a wonderful thing. I love this top five as well.
Hmm.
Um, you, you just gotta know what is the interest in it, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, that's
There's a
movies are
lot to.
wonderful to see.
Yeah, they are. And if you haven't seen any of them, go back, go look at these catalog of films, particularly, but not exclusively from the '70s. They are life changing. They're
Oh
just
my god,
brilliant, and they
that's my
hold up
favorite
well.
movies right
And they
there.
hold up well.
Lord
Yeah.
of the Rings.
Lord of the
I
Rings.
watch it like 2 times a year, all three of them.
Yeah, well, that was quite a beautiful realization of that of those wonderful novels for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Hobbit not so much,
Hobbit.
but
One, they could have done it in two. Could have done it in one, but
yeah,
whatever.
they could have done it in one. A lot of extra crap that they put in
Uh,
there.
yeah, they milked that. They milked that for everything they could. Yeah.
So look, if you're not a movie fan, I look just go enjoy some movies, and especially you got to see some movies, in the theaters. Especially when there's it's sci-fi, or this massive like world that they're trying to show you,
Yeah.
like Lord of the Rings, for instance. You got to see those in the
That's
theaters.
that's on a big screen with the IMAX,
Exactly.
or the
That's
full
where I
panel.
saw
Yeah.
Independence Day. And just the massive size of the ship is just incredible to see. Those are the movies you really need to go see in theaters, that kind of a movie. Um, but you gotta open your minds. You gotta open your minds to different things, and you'll enjoy movies a lot more,
Yeah.
you know. Except unless you go see Falcon America, then you won't enjoy, you know.
Except for that one. Except for that
Yeah.
one. I got it
So
from Hidalgo. Worst film I've ever sat through.
I love that
Did you
movie.
really? I didn't.
Hidalgo.
I wanted to love that movie. I'm like, this is killing me. Should I go give it another try? Ron, are you telling me I should give it another try?
I love it. I
All
I
right.
think it's incredible. I
All
love
right.
it.
All right. I'll give it another try. Well,
All right. We
this
got
is
to get
fun.
out of here. This is now the longest show in the history
It's my
of Going
fault.
On Daily.
It's my fault, and I go on too much, and I said the F word. So I'll
Not
take
your fault.
whatever punishment you want to dispense on me.
My shows always run late. It
Okay.
doesn't matter. I'm always on. You can't shut me up.
Okay.
So look, that is the show
All
for
right.
the day. Be sure to join us tomorrow, because it is Becky and Ira's task to do better than this one.
Okay.
So we'll see if they can pull it off. So tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 a.m.
Damn.
if you're in Edmonton, Alberta, with Becky. So
Okay.
don't miss tomorrow's show. Thank you, everyone, for being
All
here.
right.
Becky,
Take care,
Kyle, Akra, everyone. Thank you so much.
Andy.
Have a good day.
All right. Bye, everyone.